models, but God doesn't want you to be like anybody else. He made you to be you, and He loves you as you. And if you try to become someone else, God isn't pleased with that, because He loves you exactly the way you are. In fact, Isaiah 45:9 says this, "Woe to the man who fights with his Creator. Does the pot argue with its maker? Does the clay dispute with him who forms it, saying, 'Hey, stop, you're doing it wrong'? Or the pot exclaim, 'How clumsy can you be?'" But we've all done that. God, why did you make me this way? He says, I love you just the way you are. In fact, let's read that verse from Psalm 139:14 together this time. Such a good verse. I think it was our memory verse a few weeks ago. Let's read it together. Psalm 139:14. "I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well." Now, it's pretty easy to determine that you are unique. The harder thing is to determine your value. And that's what our next point says. Realize not only that you're unique, but how much God values you. God values you. That's why He made you one of a kind. Now you might want to look at the person sitting next to you and say, "I'm glad there's only one of you." But God made you one of a kind because He values you and wants you are you. The more unique something is, oftentimes the more valuable. If you think of art, painting, if you have an original painting, it's much more value than a copy or a print, because there's only one original. It gives it a value, which is why some ladies, are, especially those with wealth and fame and in the public, will always have designer one-of-a-kind dresses, because God forbid that you'd show up at a place with the same dress that somebody else was wearing. How horrible. So they'll pay all this extra money that's really, the dress isn't worth it, but it's an original, and no one else is going to show up at the party with your dress. You'll be unique. But that brings value to it because it's one of a kind. Mothers value their children because they're unique. Every one of them is unique and valuable. God values you. How do we know this? Well, Scriptures say you're valuable because God is watching over you. And what do we watch over? Things with value. Things that we don't care about too much get stuck out on the garage shelf or someplace, but things that are valuable, we watch over them. We take care of them, even put them in a safety deposit box if they're that valuable. But look at Matthew 10:29 and following. It says, "Are not 2 sparrows sold for a penny? Yet not one of them will fall to the ground apart from the will of your Father. And even the very hairs of your head are all numbered. So don't be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows." God even watches over the sparrows, He says, but you are much more valuable, and God is watching over you. He created you to be unique. He values you, and He is watching over you, whether you're aware of that or not.